lesson here today. So let's just talk a minute about backgrounds and themes. You want a background on each page, you want an appropriate font, and you want to set that up first and then clone all your pages. If you want to use a picture as a background for your first page, you're going to need a high quality photo. Most of today's digital cameras do really well. I have found a really nice website to get high resolution photos, and I'm going to go ahead and click that link. And by the way, you will get this Smart Notebook lesson today, so you'll be able to take this lesson back with you and use the files that we put up. Let me go back over to my website here. This is one of my favorite websites. No, it's not full of dead people, even though it's called Morgue Files, but it's high quality, high resolution photos that you can use for some of your better activities like your smartboard lessons. So I'm going to just look for a picture and do a quick search here. And I wish I were there today, and I wish the weather were better today, but it's not. But that's okay. So I'm going to click a picture. Now I'm actually going to download this. All you have to do is pretty easy, download the image. And of course, usually it goes to your download file folder, and mine's already there. So I want to use that in my first page of my Smart Notebook lesson. So I want to pull up another Smart Notebook lesson here. This is a practice lesson. And I'm going to go click Format, Page, and set the background field. Now, you can use a solid fill, a gradient fill, a pattern fill, or an image fill. But remember, if you're trying to use those phone images or something you just got off of a Google search, it's probably not going to work very well. So I'm going to try to browse here. And let's see, I went to my download folder. And today, let's see here. Oh, no, that's not it. There we go. And I'm just going to open that up. And ta-da! I have a really nice background. Okay? Now you need to pay attention to your fonts when you use something like this. Remember, this is just an attention getter. And you want something landscapey if you're going to use it as a background. So at this point, I'll have to go into my text box and choose an appropriate font. So if I'm just going to keep on with a black font, not going to work very well, but I could come in here and change my font color to something a little more outstanding. Now that works pretty well. Now, one thing about fonts are pretty cool too with Smart Notebook. If you've ever installed fonts, your fonts will actually show up in your Smart Notebook files under your fonts. So if I just click here, I can go in and see some of the crazy fonts that I've installed in the past, like Candy Cane. And we'll change the color on that font and just put it in for white or pink. And now we have pink Candy Cane font. So if you install a font onto your computer, it's going to show up in your Microsoft products, and you'll be able to use it in your Smart Notebook files. Now, where can you get some cool fonts and logos and things? Let me switch back to my computer here on my Safari, my browser, okay? So you can get some great quality, high quality pictures at Morgue Files. You can get some really cool text, and this is probably one of the only websites I recommend for getting text and making logos. It's called cooltext.com. Remember, you never click on any of the advertisements on these sites, but you can choose, if you want a little bling, you can choose a font to download, or you can just create a logo. And you can change the colors if you don't like the colors. And just click Create Logo. And once you make that logo, you can just download it. It's going to download as an image. So I'm just going to close the preview app, go back to my practice lesson, and insert picture, downloads. Let's see here. There we go. Pretty cool. Now, when I'm creating my lesson, I need to remember, okay, that I need to make the background first. So let me just get rid of this and go back to my first slide, okay? So that's my introduction slide. For the rest of my slides, I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to go Format, Page, Set Background Fill, and just choose something calm, non-distracting. Remember those students in our room that are highly distractible. And then what I'm going to do is just go into my page view and I'm going to clone this page over and over again. I'm going to make plenty of copies so that if I mess up or I need some extras, I'll always have those copies there. Okay? Now I'm going to switch notebook files. So, like I said, I'm going to actually upload the Smart Notebook file to my Smart Ideas website. It will be on the Smart Classroom page afterwards. All right? So let's think about this. We want to get their attention. We want to set the hook. We want to do something so that to make sure our kids are paying attention. One thing we could do, we could add some music. We could have an interesting statement. You could also have a picture or maybe a video to start your lesson with. This actually has a little video clip. Now this is probably a video clip I might use for solids, liquids, and gases. It's a great little introduction and most of the students are familiar with the video. So I might use this to introduce my lesson, but how did I get it on my page? Well, this is actually what's called a flash file, and I probably would not recommend using flash files in the future because Smart Notebook is no longer going to support flash files. But what I did was I actually went to YouTube and I found a video clip that I wanted. And I'm going to look for one right now. I'll look for Bonnie Fife. He's pretty safe to look for. All right, so let's just pull up this video clip here.
Now, boys, I'd like to just add a word or two to what the sheriff has said.
And let's just say I want this video clip in my Smart Notebook lesson, okay? Some of you may be familiar with this and some not, okay? You can actually go into your address on your YouTube channel, and once you find your video, you can put the two letters SS right after the dot, www.ssyoutube.com, blah, blah, blah. Okay, once you do that, you can actually download your video. Now, I'm going to show you this page and give you a few hints. So I'm going to hit the Enter key on my computer. So this takes you to a site called Save from Net. Okay, the thing you need to remember is do not click any of the advertisements on the page. Be patient and wait until your video shows up just like this. So you can actually download it in different file formats. You can click more and it will show you some more. This is the flash file, and I'm really recommending that you not use this. You just leave it at MP4, but when you do, it just downloads it and it saves it for you, okay? Then you'll be able to use it in your Smart Notebook lesson. We're going to talk a little bit more about videos in just a few minutes. Let's move on here. Okay, so let's talk about a few things you can do and maybe what DOK level it's on, okay? So this is just a little part of the book, The Wizard of Oz. So what I did was I just copied and pasted a chunk of text from the web. You can copy and paste a chunk of text from a Word document also. You can copy and paste from just about anything. But I actually used a web page. So what we want to do is think about how I can make this more interactive for the students. So I'm looking through the text here, and I'm finding here's some thick woods. Okay, maybe I wanted them to think about where they might be walking through. So I'm going to just double click here. Once you put text on the page, copy and paste, it is editable. So I'm just going to go right in here and put some lines in, and then I could have my students come in and just fill in the blank. So we could do a fill in the blank activity. Now another thing I can do, and let me fix this real quick. All right, so let me put that back in there. I could do a click and reveal. You can do click and reveals by creating an object to cover up your words. So I'm going to come up here and get a shape, and I'm going to use a rectangle, and I'm going to draw a little rectangle on the page here. The only problem, I forgot to fill in the inside of it. So let me just take that back off, and let me go here, rectangle, and I want a line color and a fill color. Let me try that again. So now that I've made it, I could just come in and cover something up, and then I could have the students. Remember, you want the students at the board also. This is not a Vanna White presentation. So you're not Vanna White, so make sure those students get up and use the board. So I'm going to just take this, and the students can come up and move it. That's one way I could do a drag and drop. I could also come in here, and I could edit this little box. So when I click it, double click it, it becomes editable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to click the down button, and then I'm going to go to Properties. And I want to do, let's see here, let's see here. Let's change this around a little bit. Effects. And we're going to go to the Properties tab, and we're going to do Object Animation. So what I want to do is I want this to fade out. So what's going to happen when the students come up, and they tap the board, it's going to fade out. So that would be a fade out type activity. Now the other thing you could do to cover up something was you could do an erase and reveal. So what you would have to do if you want to do erase and reveal is you've got to find the same color that you have on your background, and you have to put it on a pen. So I'm going to pull up the pens, and I'm going to choose this pen, and I'm going to go to my colors. So I think this is the color of my background, and I also want that to be fairly thick. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and open his mouth to, let's see, I'm going to kind of messed up a little bit. That's okay. Now, so the students read the sentence. Toto, now that he had an animated face, ran barking towards the lion, and the great beast had opened his mouth to. Then you can use some more of your DOK skills. You don't have something there, so you could have them try to determine what was going to be there. And to find the answer, they would pick up the eraser from the tray and erase the pen. So now you can have an erase and reveal. Now, what DOK levels do you think this particular page or activities would be on? Let's back up just a little bit. More than likely, it's probably, on the level 1 or level 2. We're edging towards level 3 when we ask them to infer something, but basically this is kind of a level 1, level 2 activity. So let's keep moving along here. Let's talk a little bit about videos and sounds and links. Oh my! We actually have an attachment to this picture here. So let's see what that attachment does. Actually brings up a little video clip. lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. You know you're going to go home saying that for the rest of the day. Oh well. Now, when you use videos and sounds and links, you're adding some actual dimensions to your Smart Notebook lesson. So let's think about this. What if we showed a little video clip and they look really scared when they watch the video, the people and the characters in the story? So maybe my lesson said, if you're walking in the woods, what would you be afraid of and why? Turn and talk to your neighbor. Continue working with your partner and make a list of the 5 scariest things in the world. When you finish, write your list on the smartboard. Now, so that's going to be our next activity, but how did we get this video attached to this picture? First of all, anything you put on a Smart Notebook page is considered an object. This picture over here is an object. These words are considered object. You can attach just about anything, including a hyperlink to a website, to an object. So this one already has something attached to it, but I put one over here just for practice. When you click on something, an object, and you make it active, you can click the drop-down arrow, and you can do what's called link. So you can actually link to a web address, a web page, a file, a page in this file, a file on your computer, or what is considered current attachments. So let me move forward just a minute here, and then we're going to come right back. Okay, this is the current attachments tab, and it is the same thing as that old file cabinet you used to have in your classroom. Because what you're going to do is you'll be able to put things in the attachments tab, like your digital files, just like you did your paper files in your file cabinet. So on this picture here, I've actually attached a PowerPoint. You can actually put your PowerPoints in the attachments tab and then attach them to objects on the page. So let's back up just a little bit. You're going, how'd that happen? Let's see here. Step 1, and I've got this on my Smart Notebook page. Step 1 is you need to fill up your attachments tab. Now, I've got a couple of things in here already. So how do you put your digital files in your attachments tab? And the cool thing is, if you share your lesson with another teacher and you put it in a jump drive or you email it to her, all of the files inside your attachments tab will still be there. So you simply come to the bottom of the attachments tab and click on the gem clip. And then you look on your computer. Oh, there's the Barney Fife video that I just found. That's a video, and I'll just click open. And now I have a copy of it in my attachments tab. So if I have a lesson on solids, liquids, and gases, I may have a PowerPoint, I may have a Word document, I may have a video clip, and I'm going to put them all in the attachments tab. Now let me go over here to my picture, and I'm going to click the drop down, and I'm going to go link. So I don't want to link to a web page. I actually want to link to something in my current attachments. Voila, there's the files that I put in there. So here's my video that I just downloaded a few minutes ago, and I'm going to just click insert link, and there's a gem clip, and let's see what happens. Is that not the coolest thing you've ever seen?
Now, boys, I'd like to just add a word or two to what the sheriff has said.
I do not have to stop my lesson, go find the video player on my computer, find the video on the computer somewhere, and start playing the video. It's right there in my attachments tab, which I've connected to this picture here. And it's going to show up as a gem clip. Now, what if I wanted to put a PowerPoint on there? I could do the same thing. I'm going to just grab a picture really quick. I'm trashing this file, but that's okay. I'm going to just drag a picture over. And remember, I've already put my PowerPoint in here. So what I'm going to do is click the drop down, go to link, and remember I'm linking to something in my current attachments. There's my PowerPoint, and I'm going to click insert link. So now when I click the gym clip, the PowerPoint pops up. Saves instructional time. Let's just minimize this. Now, what about sounds? Sometimes you might want to use sounds. Let's say you wanted to have the students speaking on the smartboard, or maybe you're going to put in an MP3 file. You can do that also. So I'm going to go right here to this sentence that I have here, and I'm going to click the drop down. Remember, I'm going to have all these instructions on my website. So I'm going to click sound. Now, I can either record my sound, or I can choose a file that I already have. So for right now, I'm just going to choose a file, and I actually have some files that I'm going to give you today. So let me find one of those files. Let's see here. Ignore the recipes that I have in my folder. MP3 sounds. I'm going to choose Mr. Aladdin here. And I'm going to give you all of these audio files today. And we'll just click open. Attach sound. And there it is.
Thank you. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you. Goodbye.
Now, let's decide. Let's say we want to get rid of Mr. Aladdin here. We'll just go back to sound and remove the sound. What if you want to record yourself? Well, let's just click the drop down again, and we'll go to sound, and we're going to click the mic, and then start recording. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Stop. Recording. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. And if you see my daughter Amy with any messages come across my screen, she's getting married next month, so she's always asking me questions. Please ignore the Amy messages that pop across my screen. All right, so I really don't like that recording, so I'm going to go back and just click cancel, and let's try that again. Drop down, sound. How many times have you had to repeat the same phrase over and over again in your classroom? I told you to sit down. I told you to sit down. Didn't I tell you to sit down? Now, I know no one has ever said that before. I told you to sit down. I told you to sit down. Didn't I tell you to sit down? And we can just attach that recording, and every time someone is up out of their seat, we could play that. Oh, well, it's a thought. Now, think about your DOK level with this activity at the bottom down here, okay? So we were going to watch a video clip. We're going to talk about being afraid, and then we're going to turn and talk to our neighbor. When they finish, they're going to write their list on the smartboard. So let's go to our next smartboard page. And I hope if you have some questions, you're typing them in the talk box, the chat box. Okay, so we're going to draw some conclusions from our conversation with our neighbors. What conclusions can you draw from these lists? So we're going to make a list here. We were supposed to turn and talk and make a little list and write it on the smartboard. Now, when I have students use a smartboard, I'm always going to lock things down so that they can't move things around. So, well, how did we create this? Let me just click. And the last thing I did actually was lock it, but I'm going to unlock it at this point. And you can also clone it, and you can also group it. So I'm going to actually go in here and click. I'm deconstructing this activity. And let's go groups. I'm going to ungroup this at this point. Because what I actually did was I made a box that I liked. I just went into my shapes, and I chose a shape. and then I chose a line color and a fill color. Let's go back and just choose this color, and then choose a line color, and then you simply draw your shape on your smartboard. Okay, at that point, I'm going to go back and add some text. And since they were making a list, what I would do is I would come in here and just do a bulleted list. And you don't actually have to put it on top of your shape yet. You can draw it out to the side. So I'm going to just do one at the end. Whoops, I think I need to get my candy canes off of here. Goodness gracious, I do love those special fonts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So actually, we can get rid of some of this. Let me just start all over again. Get rid of it, Elizabeth. I don't know about you, but sometimes I forget. I get stuck on font and I forget to go over to the arrow. Anyway, we're going to pull this one up in the interest of time because I have a lot of things to share with you today. But here's my list that I typed earlier. So what I'm going to do is once I type the list, I can change the size. And then I'm going to drag it and drop it on my colored background. And then I'm going to highlight them both. And once I highlight them both, I'm going to click the drop down arrow. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do group, and I'm going to group them together. So let's get rid of this one here. So now that I've grouped them together, the numbers are stuck just like that. They won't come off your background. So now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to use the infinite cloner for a few minutes and make myself some copies. And then I can go in and I can take the cloner off. And I can actually highlight whatever I want to go and lock down. Let me move this around a little bit. Here we go. And lock. One more time, Elizabeth. And we lock that in place. Okay. Once I lock it, my students can't use it, and then they can come to the board and pick up a pen and write their list from their previous activity. All right. So continue working with your partner. Make a list of the 5 scariest things in the world. When you finish, write your list on the smartboard. So they come up and they write it on the smartboard. So let's think about the be okay level here. Let me back up just a little bit. So now we're drawing some conclusions. We're having a conversation with a neighbor. We're discussing things, and we're going to be drawing some conclusions. So see how we're moving around this be okay level? Maybe we're somewhere between a 3 and a 4. I mean a 2 and a 3. So let's keep going with our little lesson here. Okay, so let's think about organizing information with tables. I love tables in the smartboard. You can use tables to collect your snack money in the morning. You could have students come up and drag a bag of chips to a table if they wanted to buy chips from the store. You could have them drag a particular kind of ice cream. I like to go to the internet and look for some pictures maybe. Let's look for some ice cream. So if your school sells ice cream, you can come into the images and find the kind of ice cream that your school sells. Oh, the Nutty Buddy. So I'm going to find a Nutty Buddy, and I'm just going to copy image. and go back to my Smart Notebook lesson. And if I wanted my students to tell me what they wanted for snack, and they wanted a Nutty Buddy, I could use a table. So the first thing you have to do is create a table, and you can use the little table button up here, and it will go as far down as you want it to. I'm actually going to just pull that one back out because I already have a table. Then you have to decide what kind of information that you want to organize. And if I were going to use this to, whoops, that is a mighty big picture, but that's okay. Uh-oh, it's stuck on my table. Let me try this one more time. So when my students walk in my classroom in the morning, there we go again. That darn ice cream wants to be in that table. Here we go. My students are going to bring me their money, but they're going to walk by the smart board first thing in the morning, and they're going to find the kind of ice cream or snack that they want to buy. And I'm going to create a table with their name in one column, and then maybe have some columns for each day of the week. And then what I'm going to do is have all the snacks around the outside, and I'll just put the infinite cloner on the snacks, and they can drag a snack and drop it beside their name under the day of the week. So that's one way that you can actually gather some information that will work for organizing in your math activities. But for right now, I'm going to create a table. We'll find I got pictures out of the gallery. I put the infinite cloner tool on, and then I'm going to have the students come up and vote for what they think is the scariest animal. They're going to use their list from the previous activity, and they're going to make a graphical representation of the information that they created from here. So what DOK level do you think this is on? I definitely think we're probably working our way onto a level 3. We're using logic, we're constructing information, we're formulating ideas and hypotheses, we're drawing conclusions. So we're really working our way up that DOK level. Let me move forward again. So we're changing our level by using different activities. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to our last slide here. So my last activity for my students will be to turn and talk to your neighbor, then write your conclusions on the board. Well, here I'm going to bring some math terms in. They're going to use this, and they should be able to, on the board, either the smart board or just a dry erase board or a piece of paper, they should be able to say, well, more people are afraid of lions than they are of bears, or less people are afraid of snakes than they are of tigers. And they'll be able to actually go in here and change your DOK level again by drawing some conclusions. Here we go. So what we're doing is we're analyzing the information that we got from our little chart and graph. We collected from ourselves, and we're drawing some conclusions. And we're going to move forward again here. Whoops. Okay. All right. So our last activity would actually be an extension activity. We may have worked on this Smartboard activity for a couple of days, and now I want to introduce this in centers. Maybe it's the center activity for next week. We could ask, why are people afraid? Are all fears founded in truth? In your Science Center this week, click the links on our webpage and investigate some scary animals. So what I would do as a teacher is I would put some web links somewhere, maybe on my teacher webpage. What I've done also is I've created a Google slide. And on the Google slide, each student will go in and tell about one animal and explain why you should or should not be afraid. So we're going to create actually a slide presentation. So we'll click here, pulls up our Google slide, and I would have put enough slides in for each of my students to do one, name a scary animal, And then they're going to defend their hypotheses. Snakes. Why I'm afraid of snakes. Or snakes. Why I'm not afraid of snakes. So once again, we're up in that DOK level. Let me go back here to my Smart Notebook lesson. Now, at this point, I'm going to switch back over to my web page. Oh, it's here somewhere. So here's the web page where we're actually going to have some of our information. So we talked about backgrounds, and we talked about using pictures. Remember, you have to use a high-quality picture. If you came in late, this is just a little bit of review. And one of my favorite sites for high-quality pictures would be Morgue Files. And no, your phone pictures will not work as a background because they'll be too grainy and just will not look right. So you need a high-resolution, either just any decent digital camera or maybe the pictures at the Morgue File. You might want to use a picture as your first slide and then go and choose just a plain color for the rest of your slides. Once you make a slide for your backgrounds, you want to use it over and over again, so you have to go in and clone it. We're going to think about what we're doing as far as on each of our pages. Are we engaging? Do we have some exploration? Are we explaining something? Did we extend our activity? And do we have some sort of evaluation? If you're making a Smart Notebook file, please do a title page with the name of the lesson and your author's name. I know you're proud of your work. We want to have a page with our standards and objectives, and then we start with a hook, okay? And once again, when you use a video, try to download it first. But if you cannot, okay, that's all right, because I have some websites where you can actually just hyperlink. On my web page here, I have a site. It's called Elizabeth's Favorite Video Sites. Every one of these video sites, you can grab a video and you can link it without downloading it in your Smart Notebook lesson. So let me just go here to the first one, Neo K-12. So let's see, I'm going to do a lesson on fractions. So I'm going to just do a search for a fraction lesson. And let's just pull up this web page. Now, this web page has many lessons on fractions. So I probably need to find the one that I want. And we're just going to pretend I want my students
in this video, we're going to take a look at
video in the Smart Notebook lesson. And maybe later on I'm going to put it actually in my center or station. So I'm going to click the address, and I'm going to right mouse click the address after it turns blue. And I'm going to copy the address. Let me go back down here and let me find this practice thing will work. All right. So I'm going to just type I could have put a picture of a video camera or whatever I would like, but I just put words in here for right now. And I'm going to click the drop down and go to link, and see up here it says web page. So I'm going to click right mouse click and I'm going to paste it in there, and I'm going to click insert link. Now let's see what happens. I'm going to go back and let's just actually get rid of this. Let me go back to my lesson at this point, and we click the world.
In this video, we're going to take a look at equivalent fractions. And if you understand...
Now, if you had been teaching and you had to stop and go find the video, that would have taken a few more minutes. And what are they going to be doing in those few more minutes? And you know what I'm talking about, chatting and talking and whatever else. So it's a really, really great teaching technique to learn to make hyperlinks. I'm going to do that one more time. This time, I'm just going to go find something, a picture. Let's see here. I'm going to find a picture. Let's see. And we're going to go to video. Let's see. We want to find images. Come on, Elizabeth. Get with the program. I like this one. I'm just going to copy this image. And please pay attention to copyright. Some of your videos on and pictures on Google are copyright protected, some are not. So you need to make sure that you follow copyright when you copy pictures. We think that means copyright. Can't we copy it? Yes. No, sometimes. So this little button here, maybe I want to use this button every time that I want to have a video in my Smart Notebook file. You can actually save external pictures over here in your gallery. And if you're not using the gallery, shame on you, because there are plenty of pictures in this gallery for you to use. Mine has 6,705, and I know there's at least 7,000 in most of your files, but I can actually go right here and click copy, and then I can come over here to my content. Remember, my content is where you save your favorite things, and I can just click paste. So the next time I go to the gallery, I can just drag this picture out. So you can save external pictures in the gallery. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click, and I'm going to go to link, and let me go back and find the video clip. Once again, I'm going to share. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to go to my notebook, and I'm going to put that right there. Insert link. So once I use this little emblem over and over again, we're going to know every time you see the play button, that must mean we're going to watch a little video clip.
In this video, we're going to take a look at equivalent fractions. And if you understand equivalent fractions, then working with fractions.
Okay, so we've gone through several things here. Let me pull this back up. My Smart Ideas website, I want to make sure I've covered what I said I would cover. Okay, we've got some cool text here. We've got some pictures here. Some instructions on putting video links and hyperlinks in. Oh, yes. All the music files, they're right here, MP3 files. When you click this later on, not right now, you can actually download all of these files, these music files that I saved. You'll find things like, and guys, I'm sorry, my husband put this one in here. I asked him to look for some sounds one day, and he thought that was funny. It was not, but you'll be able to put these in your Smart Notebook files. So, free music files or funny files. So you can put these in when you do sounds. You can hyperlink. I love the attachments tab. To me, it makes my Smart Notebook file 10 times as good because I can save all my digital files in my Smart Notebook files. I don't have any in this one. This was my practice file, but I can click plus sign. Let me go to my downloads folder, and let me change this to date added, and just start putting my PowerPoints, my pictures, and so on and so forth, videos, anything I have saved on my computer, or anything I have saved from the web to my downloads folder, you can put in here, and once you put it here, you click whatever you want on your Smart Notebook file, and you just go link, and we're going to link to current attachments, and it will show everything you've gotten in there. All right, so let me change my screen here for just a minute. And let's see here, I'm going to stop sharing my desktop, and I'll pull this up here. Okay, now what I'd like for you to do, if you would like to, you can ask some questions. If you don't want to ask them right now, you can type your questions in down here. If you want to access this later, you can do that. But if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in, or you can just ask them. So I'm going to give you just a minute to reflect and just ask whatever questions you like. You can either type them in, or you can unmute your mic and ask. Come on, sure, there's a pining question in the back of your mind that you've always wanted to know about smart boards, but we're afraid to ask. Now is the time to ask questions.
Yes, please do while we have Elizabeth's sessions on. Remember, she is a SMART certified trainer, so she is very smart and can answer any questions that you might have. Thank you, Elizabeth.
I hope. Just remember,
and their mic, but they can raise their hands, and I will unmute their mics for them. Don't forget, guys, if you would like credit for this training, you just simply need to go into STIPD and register for the session, and I will put the session number up again.
So, did you find some useful information? If you did, raise your hand or clap or something.
Yes, let's give Elizabeth a raised hand or a smiley face to let her know that you have enjoyed this presentation today.
You can always get to me by my webpage. My information is on the front page of my webpage. You can email me. You can even call me. I think my phone number's on there. If you do find that you have some questions, just let me know. Type them in the chat box. I'll try to get the answers up before the end of next week.
So here's just a reminder about today's session, and we also have 2 more trainings coming up in April. We have one on April 1st with our Alabama Technology and Motion Specialist, Kara Foster. She's in the Auburn University region area, and she's doing one on a comparison of technology tools called Would You Rather. We also will have another one on April 7th with Dr. Buddy Weldon, or Roland Weldon, and he is at our Troy University In-Service Center, and he is going to do one on the most Pinteresting man in the world. And if you're interested in that one will be April 7th at 3:30. So Carol's session is April 1st. Hers will be 1 to 3 o'clock. And Dr. Buddy Roland Weldon will be April 7th at 3:30. And I will put the links to the registrations in the chat box. Robert had asked a question, if someone wants to take this on STIPD, can they use the same code? They would have needed to have attended today's training, and then all they simply need to do is to go into STIPD and put in that training session number, and then myself or Sherry Hayes will go in and approve that registration. And if you were in, you've already registered, I think there were 7 of you that have already registered that I have already approved. You just also need to complete the evaluation. And once you do that, you should see your credit in STIPD. So if you have any other questions, please be sure to put your questions in the chat box. We do not give credit for watching the recorded sessions, but if you would like to share this recording or if you need to review some of the things that Elizabeth shared with you, please visit our website, and I'm also going to put that in the chat box. And I'm going to unmute Sherry in case she would like to comment. I can find Sherry W. Oh, she doesn't have her microphone on, so no, I can't unmute Sherry. So Sherry, if you have anything you would like to add, you can type it in the chat box if I forgot anything. I'm new to STIPD, so I would try to get that done. Robert, you would just need to talk to someone at your school system so that they can set you up in STIPD. It's now called Chalkable. So they will set you up an account, and then once you have an account, you can do a search for it. If you need any help, please feel free to email myself here at the State Department of Education. and we can help answer those questions for you. If there are no other questions, guys, thank you, and you can go ahead and log off. If you registered early in the day, do we need to do anything? Monique, if you registered an STIPD, you don't need to do anything else but complete the evaluation, and that will also be an STIPD. And I've placed the phone number. If you need to contact us, if you have any question, you can contact Keisha Hooks or Sherry Hayes. Here's the link to the recording. It will be available in the morning. It will be on the website, but we do have all of our recordings on this website. So please go and share with your coworkers.
Keisha, how many participants did we have?